In this session, we are going to see how to get an output from JavaScript. There are multiple ways of getting an output into the JavaScript, and I've listed all the 4 ways possibly on the screen. And this is pretty much used when you are testing something, or you want to see a quick output, or you want to intimate the user who's seeing the screen of some kind of an output. So the first one is windows.alert. So window.alert is basically throwing an alert onto the screen and telling the user, hey, this is the output that you expected. Document.write. As you remember, we got the elements from a document, which means every browser will have a document, and then you write onto the document, which means you directly update the document or the data that you see on the screen. Inner HTML. We already saw this example while we were doing our initial button clicks and updating the text using inner HTML. And the last and probably the most effective for development is console.log. And if you notice, except for inner HTML, all these are methods, which means they can also accept some kind of an input and they'll give you an output. However, for inner HTML, we will just do an assignment. So let's see all of these in action and see what happens. So again, all of this is on JSBin. I'll be sharing the details of the URL with you. You can definitely go and play along. So let's try and do window.alert and see what happens when we do an addition of 5 and a 6. See, you saw? So you got the output as an alert pop-up and the answer is 11. So that's one way of getting the data. Let's try the other output, which is document.write. So we already talked about document.write, and as I told you, these are methods and they can accept parameters. So we are just doing another addition into document.write and see 11 got outputted out here itself. So this was document.write. Now what happens when you have already loaded an HTML and you do document.write? Let's say, for example, my HTML is already loaded in this new example, and on click of this try it button, I am going to call document.write. So let's see. On click, now what will happen when I click this try it button? Well, when the document is already loaded and you update something, it will replace your entire document. So you see, all your HTML is gone. So you never replace your document.write after your HTML is loaded. The last one, and probably my favorite, console.log. So this is something that is most useful when you do development, and it also doesn't hinder the user experience because it all plays along silently in the browser. So let me quickly show you. So we have the whole HTML page. I do a console.log. I do the same addition 5 plus 6 and see what happens. There's no output out here when the HTML doesn't get updated at all. However, the code has run, and what we can see is we have outputted the content, but where to see it? So if you're on JSBin, you already have a console tab and you can go and check it out here. Just do a run with JS and you should see the output 11. However, if you're not on JSBin and you are on any other browser, putting this HTML into a notepad and seeing the output in a browser HTML window, just right click and say inspect. Go to the console tab. Let's clear the console and let's run this JavaScript once again. You can see the output is already available 11. So what happens is whenever you are on any website and you go and click on something, or probably you want to output something, you just use console.log and it silently tells you what is happening behind the scenes. Again, from a developer perspective, it is very helpful, but make sure to remove them when you are in production.